सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी। गोबिंदे मुकंदे उदारे अपारे, हरियं करियं निर्नामे अकामे। गोबिंदे मुकंदे उदारे अपारे, हरियं करियं निर्नामे अकामे। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। So in today's class, Maharaj is going to describe what is the similarity between Ishwar and Jeev. So the term Jagdish means Ishwar. So the three Ishwars, which we know, the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, their body is formed of the 5 elements as well. Same to the human body. And it is considered a very majestic. The whole world is in the body of the Ishwar. So the body of the Jeev and all other life forms in the 8.4 million cycle are created from the same 5 elements as well. So there is no difference here. Kaviji says, I have explained this separately so that you can understand in depth and eventually understand that it is one form only. So the world is the body, the day of Ishwar, and it is the form of Maya. And what is Maya? Maya is that which is present today and it will change tomorrow. It does not remain the same. It's always changing and it will eventually get destroyed. Now, if we look at our body as well, even that is constantly changing. In childhood, the body was of different form and size, and as we age, it changes form as well. So change is the very nature of Maya. The change itself is Maya. So thus the body of the humans and Ishwar are similar because they're both in change. So one body of Ishwar is this giant majestic form, which is the whole world. The second body is called the Hirnegaram. Vishnu Maharaji is considered to be the highest among all Ishwar because he was formed first. There is no difference among them at Atamavastha. But for the formation of the world, Akal Purkh Maharaj took the Sargun form of Mahavishnu. Then from Mahavishnu, Vishnu is formed. And from Vishnuji, then Brahma and Shivji appeared. In this Sargun roop, this world is the majestic roop of Vishnuji. The second subtle form is the Hirnegaram. It's like the golden egg from where Vishnuji appeared. And how to understand this golden egg? So when we are in deep sleep, this egg is completely in one form. It's closed. There is no activity happening there. There is no good or bad in deep sleep. But there is only the observation, the one observing. And when there is dream state, when there is a dream, some kind of activity happening, then this egg is broken into half. There is the activity happening, there is good, bad, all the other forms, activities happening there. And when we are in the wakeful state, when we are like talking now, this egg has formed into a chick, like the egg transformed into a chick. And then it wanders around. So this is the mind. It wanders around in all the directions. So this is the subtle body, which is the Hirnegaram. Same way, consider human body to be like this as well. One is the physical body, and the second is the subtle body, the Antakaran. So the subtle body is formed of the 17 elements. This was discussed in the previous classes. The Shakti of Ishwar is formed because of Maya. All the activities happening in all the bodies is the Shakti of Ishwar. And the Jeev has avidya in them. That's why we take this form. Because of Agyanta. The Jeev has forgotten all the previous birth as well as the very first birth. Before taking the very first birth, there was no separateness. We were already one with Paramatma. And we have forgotten that roop as well. It's because when Ishwar created the world and it created the human body, then more of Tamogun was installed. And because of Tamo and Rajogun, we have forgotten our true Sarup. So Ishwar remembers their previous birth, but humans forget their previous birth. Both are held in Maya, and both have forgotten their true Sarup. Therefore, both are one only. Now, some have considered the Jagdish Ishwar to be Shivji. Some have considered him to be Brahma or Vishnu. Some have considered him to be the Devi form. But it's the same Shakti that takes the form of humans. When we see the same Atma in everyone, the consciousness, that the same Atma is in Jeev as well as Ishwar, then there is no difference in them. But because of the Shaktiya, one appears to be Ishwar and the other as Jeev. The difference between a drop of water and the ocean is that of the quantity. So the ocean has more quantity of water in it, but they both have the same water in it. The drop is formed of the water as well, so is the ocean, but the quantity is different. Same way, it is because of the status and positions that they appear different. But there is no difference between Jeev and Ishwar. So Maharaj says, let go of this liking of one or the other form. Don't be attached to any one particular form. Isht. So Isht is the word, it means to like something more than another thing. Like to like Brahmaji more than Vishnu, or to like Shivji more than Brahmaji, and becoming so attached to that form, and to begin considering yourself as the das, as the follower of that, and to make that thing your owner then. Now, those who consider Shivji to be the greatest, then they dislike Brahmaji or Vishnuji or Devi because to them, Shivji is the greatest. Similarly, if someone is a follower of a Devi, they do not believe in other forms of Ishwar. Maharaj says the Jeev who has understood about this Atam Sarup can remove his Agyanta with Kripa of Guru. So Jeev does abhyas of Gurubani and recognizes his true Sarup. After recognizing the true Sarup, his Atam, one will see the same Atma in Ishwar as well. And then there will be no debate or conflict of any kind. Because you have understood the one. So if you see someone worshipping Ishwar, Brahma, Vishnu, or Devi, anyone in any form, what does it really matter to you? Because you know they're all one. They're just worshipping that same Shakti in a different form. But in Agyanta, we argue with each other that why this why one person is doing this and the other is worshipping so and so Ishwar. And they should worship Akal Purukh only. They are worshipping Akal Purukh, but in Agyanta, in one version of Akal Purukh. So the three pad that we discussed, the Tat, Tvang, Asapad. The Tat is the Jeev, the Tvang is Ishwar, the Asapad, the Parbrahm. The Parbrahm, Akal Purukh, is in Tat Pad and Tvang as well. So it's all one Parbrahm only. Kavi Maharaj further explains that the Asapad Parbrahm is the one that gives Prakash to Tat and Tvang. It illuminates it. It's the same light. And this is not a physical light. The person who understands this wisdom in them, they loses their homemade. It's called Appa Pavgavana. There is no separateness. They don't consider themselves to be separate. There is no separate identity there. Then that person becomes one with all the qualities because they have become one with the Asapad, which is Paramatma. So just like as an ocean has the capability of drowning or saving someone, but the drop doesn't have that capability, even though the same water is present there. But when the drop merges with the ocean, then it has the same qualities that of the ocean. So when the Jeev recognizes the true Sarup and becomes one with Parbrahm, the same qualities appear in the Jeev as well. There is no Jeev that's left there. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj has said that he has gifted everything to Khalsa. And the Khalsa is the one who has done darshan of Paramatma. They have eradicated the Homme and they have become one with Paramatma. Yesterday in Diwali Mahatma part, we were doing the part and there Maharaj does Khalsa Mera Roop Hai Khas. In the body, Maharaj explains what is Khalsa. So Khalsa is not a physical being who looks in certain way. Yes, the five kakars are there, but that's there for a reason. The Khalsa is one who has known their Atam Sarup. The Khalsa is not someone like me who literally just fools people wearing some kind of bana and then saying nice things, and inside they don't know what they're doing. The Khalsa itself is the form of Paramatma. So Mara explains that's what Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj has blessed us with, the Atam Avastha. So Mara says there are Mahavaks in the Vedas as well. So what are the Mahavaks? These are the Shabad that express the wisdom, due to which there is no difference between Jeev and Paramatma. There is no duality in Mahavaks. And there are Mahavaks in all four Vedas as well. In Gurbani as well, Mahavaks such as Man tu Jot Sarup hai apna mool pashan. This is a Mahavak. Because in here, Maharaj is directly giving the direct link that you are that. Maharaj is saying to the man that you are that Jot Sarup, you are that Paramatma itself. So these are called Mahavaks. Further, Kaviji explains that Paramatma himself is the Jeev as well as the Ishwar. So with Guru Kirpa, if someone does vichar of Gyan and they do abhyas of Gurbani in their buddhi, in the intellect, then with Maharaj Kirpa, the home is removed and the separateness is removed. and one becomes one with the Akal Purakh itself. Now, Maharaj explains about the quality of Atma. There are countless qualities of Paramatma. It's hard to describe something that is so limitless in a limited way, but still Maharaj explains some of the qualities here. It is Sat. Sat is that Vastu which is true, which never changes within time and beyond time. So if there is no concept of time, actually there is no concept of time there, and it still remains. Chit is the conscious. It's aware. It's the fourth stage. The Turiya, the observer, these are different names for that. So it's the stage when one sees the world as an observer. The fourth stage itself is the consciousness. This state is present, the consciousness is present in dream state as well and in the deep state as well. Because when someone is in a deep sleep and they wake up next morning, it's the consciousness telling that you had a great sleep, there was no dream. The awareness of that itself is because of the consciousness. Ananda. Ananda means that which remains forever. And it's different to happiness or sukha. Because sukha or happiness, it occurs in time. It's bound to the time. There is always sukha after dukh, and there will always be dukh after sukh. But I am the Ananda Sarupa, that which remains forever without any change. Advitya. There are no two forms. The Atma that is present in me is the same in you, is the same in all Devi Devte, Ishwar, everyone. Now, if we talk from the lens of Advait, non-duality, then actually it is only Paramatma speaking through me. It's Paramatma only listening through you. Somewhere Paramatma is housing, somewhere Satvir Singh. All this is Paramatma listening to itself only. Achal, no one can move it. Akhand, it cannot be destroyed by any means. Ananta, beyond end. Because the end, the destruction happens in time as well. Because it is Akal, beyond time, it does not die. Swayam, it illuminates itself. Mara says in Japji Sa Mool Mantra Sapang that it was formed from itself only. It illuminates itself. It doesn't need another source. So just like the sun doesn't need an extra lamp to see itself, same way Atma doesn't need support of anything else. So when Sikh does vichar with Guru, then it is Atma only doing vichar with itself. The difference is because of the Shaktiyan and Upadhiyan. Guru has Gyan of the Atam Sarup. He is Gyan da Samundar. He is the ocean of the Gyan. The Sikh is the one who is learning about his true Sarup. So when we have a wick, oil, and the Jyot within us, then Maharaj, by giving Gyan, gives Prakash to us and we become one with the Guru. Kood Sat. It does not waver. It's strong like a huge mountain. Aj. It's without birth. The subtle body comes in the cycle of birth and death, but not the consciousness. Akriya. It is beyond any actions. Because all actions occur because of Atma. But the Atma itself does not get affected by any of the actions. Brahma, that which is present inside and outside. So the Brahm is present in the body, outside as well. And when this body gets destroyed, which it will, because it's in time, the Brahm remains. It doesn't go anywhere. It just stays there because it's everywhere. Maharaj says, if you practice these qualities, your home will be destroyed and you will become Brahma Roop only. Maharaj in Gurbani in Bhai Gurdas Ji War says as well that Gurmukh aap gavaye na aap janaiye. So Gurmukh are those who loses their sense of home. There is no separateness in them. There is absolutely no home there. Sikh says to Maharaj, Maharaj, you have explained very well about these qualities of the Atma. Now, could you please explain them separately in depth? So Maharaj says, due to the Shakti of Paramatma, we experience this Maya Roop Sansar. This Maya Roop is an illusion, but it appears as true. It's an illusion because it appears as separate. There is separateness in there. The one who has this Shakti is the Sattvastu. And as we have discussed, the Sattvastu is the one which does not change with time or beyond time. It stays same. This Sattvastu is Brahma, Akal Purakh. But it cannot be described without Gyan, without the wisdom of it. And this wisdom is Gurmat. This wisdom is not merely of the words, but what we are reading right now, it's called theoretical wisdom. So we are reading about it, that is still Brahm Gyan, but it's in a theory way. But when we Maharaj Kripa, when one applies this wisdom and the experience from it when it comes, that's called Aproksh Anupa Prakash, the practical wisdom. Even reading about this is Brahm Gyan, but it's in theory form. So with Maharaj Kripa, it's important to do abhyas of this so that one can experience the practical, get the practical experience of it as well. Maharaj further explains, the actions happening during the wakeful and dream state are happening because of the consciousness. The knowledge one gets in the deep sleep the next morning that you had a deep sleep is because of consciousness. That Shakti of awareness, it is the quality of Atma. All the actions of Sato, Rajo, Tamo, they are happening because of Atma. So Atma is the one that eliminates and operates these three qualities of Sato, Rajo, and Tamo. Yet at the same time, it is detached, which is the observer state, the Chauthapad or Turiya. With Maharaj Kripa, if someone attains this state, then he becomes the observer of the world. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj says, Dekhan ayo jagat tamasa. He's not doing anything. Even if we look at the body and we think he's performing an action, it's happening. But he himself is in Atmavastha only. He says, I'm only here as the observer. I'm not doing anything. Then the person who observes the action, after becoming the observer, they just observe that the actions are being performed in the world and through the body. And when he becomes the observer, he does not get affected by any of the actions as well. And that way, he does not come under the cycle of birth and death because it's not his actions. When we attach the I with an action, that very moment the antakaran appears. A thought comes, and then another thought comes that I am that thought, or I am the doer of this action. The antakaran has formed immediately in that moment. But when we see the world or the actions through this body in Turiya Avastha, then as Brahmarup, we are the observer only. And we do not come in this cycle of birth or death. We make this body or others perform actions, but are the observer only. Now, how to understand this with an analogy? If we keep a magnet near metal, and if the metal is in a very tiny form, there are tiny pieces of the metal, then it immediately comes towards the magnet and it attaches itself to the magnet. Same way, the Atma is all Shaktiman, all powerful. All the energy or the Shaktiya in the Indriya senses are of the Atma. The metal itself doesn't have any power. But it's because of the magnet that the metal gets the Shakti. It goes towards the magnet. Same way, the senses do not have their own Shakti. It's because of the Atma they get the Shakti, and due to which the actions happen. And these actions happen at Sato, Rajo, Tamo, within these qualities. The Shakti of Brahm is within this body as well as outside as well. And it is one root only. Now, the Shakti that gives heat to the sun and illuminates it, I am that Shakti itself. And it's the same Shakti that is in the body as well. And there is no difference between these. Now, Maharaj explains that as previously discussed, when we have desire of something, and when we finally get that thing, the sukh that is experienced during that process is because of Atma. Previously, we discussed about the different kosh. The sukh is happening in the Anandamaya kosh. And it's because of Atma. Now, how to understand this? Let's say a child has a desire of eating a chocolate. So he thinks about the chocolate. He experiences the happiness in the mind. Just by that single thought, there is a formation of happiness. That sukh, that pleasure is because of Atma. And when he actually decides to go to the shop to buy that chocolate, as he walks towards the shops, he's thinking about buying that and achieving that. In that experience of, in that process, he's experiencing more sukh, more pleasure. He's thinking, I'm gonna eat that chocolate. Then when he eventually gets the chocolate, he consumes it. And there is another more increase in the sukh. The pleasure increases. That is because of Atma as well. But why do we feel that that sukh, that particular happiness is in that thing itself? When in reality, it's happening within us. Somehow we still think, just like that child is thinking, that he's getting the happiness because of that chocolate. He doesn't know it's actually happening within him. just like a musk deer. So this deer wanders around in the forest, roaming after the fragrance. So she smells beautiful fragrance and she wanders around looking for this fragrance. But she doesn't know it's coming from within her. Same way, we keep searching for happiness outside. And we keep thinking somehow the sukh is outside, in the outside things, in the job we do, in the family, in the things we buy, in the career, everything we think it's happening because of that. But it's actually within only that's happening because of Atma. It is the quality, it's the nature of Atma to give sukh. Why do we feel that sukh now? And when we finally get that thing, we feel more sukh. That's because when we are thinking about one particular thing, the mind becomes still. Let's say there is a desire to buy something or to eat something. The mind stops wandering around and starts focusing on that one thing, on that particular goal, that I'm gonna achieve this. What has happened in that process? The mind has become still. Because the mind has become still, it's giving that sukh. And when we eventually get that thing or consume that thing, and it gets destroyed, because everything else is going to get destroyed, no doubt about it, absolutely no doubt about it. The career, the family, the things we are eating, everything is going to get destroyed. It might sound very bitter, but it is the harsh truth. So when the things get destroyed, the mind starts wandering again. Because the mind doesn't know the sukh is coming from within, the mind thinks that one thing is giving me the sukh. Now I'm going to have to chase another thing to give that same sukh. Then again it wanders to the another thing. Again that thing gets destroyed. Again it starts wandering around. But Naam is something that remains forever. And when with Maharaj Kirpa we become Naam Abhyasi, when we read Gurbani or do Seva, we start experiencing the same Anand, the same happiness, the same pleasure, the same sukh, that which we were getting from the temporary things. Then we realize that actually, hang on, this Anand was always within me. And I kept looking it out in the outside temporary things. Now, if we take the support of that permanent thing, because we know there is a thing that will never get destroyed, then we become Ananda Rupa only. But as long as the mind keeps wandering around the outside things, the material world, it will get sukh, and then again it will get the dukh once the thing is destroyed. As long as the mind is wandering towards the temporary things, it will keep going into the cycle of birth and death. And why is that? Because there is still desire. The mind hasn't found something that is permanent. But when the mind finds something that is permanent, it stays still, it doesn't wander around, and there is no birth and death in that. Because there is no desires left. That's why Gurbani says, Thir kar baiso harjan pyare, like to stay still in your own home. And that home is Atam Sarup. So Maharaj Kirpa, may Maharaj bless us with this wisdom that we can understand this, the theory that we are reading, and apply it. And that happens with Maharaj Kirpa with Abhyas. And when we do seva, Nishkam seva, without expecting anything in return. And this is important to do, otherwise it takes another form of home. So Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.